Welcome, men of culture, and women. Welcome, people of culture. Today we are going to be discussing a topic that I have thought about countless times, and it always pops up in comments under my videos and under videos that I watch. We're going to talk about the men of culture meme, and we're going to talk about desire and lust and kind of dive into that. So, should be an interesting conversation. It is very cold where I am right now, to me, so I'm all cozy, and I'm excited to talk to you again, because I guess it's been, I think, like 3 weeks, maybe a month, since the last podcast episode. So yeah, I've missed talking with you, and I have a lot to talk about, a lot I've been thinking about, but the reason that I wanted to talk about men of culture is because I was watching this massage video, because I consume a lot of ASMR content myself, and it was a real massage. A woman was getting a massage in, I think, Thailand maybe, and of course there are, I guess, sensual undertones, just because, you know, it's a human body, there's oil, it's slow and intimate, and the woman was fit and healthy. And of course, as a human being, you notice that. But I don't know, I was scrolling through the comments as usual, and I saw a lot of people saying, "Men of culture, we meet again," or, "Oh, this video is for men of culture." And I know I'm familiar with the meme. Basically, I did some research on the origins, and it's something that people humorously say when they connect over a shared interest. Originally, it was about anime and video games, and now it's a lot more about content that people find to be gratifying in that way. So I've seen a lot of comments under like famous athletes' videos where they have a really nice figure. I've seen a lot of people commenting, "Men of culture, we meet again." And it's a very light-hearted thing. It's not meant to be negative at all. So I wondered, why does it make me feel something negative when I see that commented? Because I know that it's in a way a compliment, like people are saying, you know, we all have a shared interest in appreciating the physical beauty of this person or people. But I think what bothers me about it is that it excludes women, and I know it's not that deep, but I'm just telling you as a woman who also appreciates a good physique, and I watch those sorts of videos all the time, it feels a little bit alienating when I always see people acting like that kind of content only appeals to men. And also, people comment this under my content sometimes. And again, it makes me feel weird because it's like, it's in a way saying that the content is only designed to be consumed by men, which it's obviously not in any of those cases. And so as both a creator, it makes me feel flattered, but also it's weird because, my content is for anyone. And as a viewer, it makes me feel like I'm not supposed to be there, Like if I'm scrolling through TikToks or Instagram reels of these fit, gorgeous women, and I keep seeing stuff about men of culture, it does kind of make you feel a little bit like you're out of place and you shouldn't, like these videos are for men to watch, which is weird because it's almost this idea, this unspoken idea that only men experience this sort of appreciation for, again, like attractive physiques or kind of those sensual undertones that can exist in content. And that's, I'm telling you, not true, okay? Women do enjoy that as well. But that led me down a rabbit hole because I see those comments and I don't mind those as much because, again, it's meant to be a positive thing. But the comments that are more negative are basically condemning anytime they perceive that there could be some sort of sensual undertone. And sometimes that's in content that is literally so wholesome, so void of any, gratuitous sensuality. It's very normal, but somebody watching it for some reason feels feelings that they feel shame about, and so they type up a whole comment condemning that content. And I had somebody comment on my last video calling my content, which, by the way, that video was very normal, nothing weird about it, okay? As far as I wasn't doing anything in a vulgar or gratuitous way. It was very, it's ASMR, and I understand there are some intimate things about it, and I understand that certain people might feel certain types of way when they watch the content, which I think is great. But it was not overtly, dedicated to be some sort of sexual thing at all. And the person commented saying how they thought that people that used their body for views or whatever were selling out and the content was soulless. And I thought about that because that's not a new sentiment. I've heard that before, and I've seen that commented on my content and on other people's content. And so I wanted to break it down a little bit because there are many layers to that, right? Because it must be built on some sort of premise that desire or lust, seeing a person that you find to be sexually attractive, that's wrong. Which to me is very weird, because it's like that's kind of one of the basic drives of being a human, is having that attraction and desire. And it's something that happens, it occurs naturally. You don't, at least for me, it's not something that I chose to feel. Certain things, I see it and it makes me feel some type of way, and I think that's true for most people. So, how could it be inherently negative? Just like anything, there are extremes, and anything taken to an extreme is negative. An example that I'd like to use is chocolate. So, chocolate is not evil. Looking at chocolate and thinking like, oh, that looks good, I want to eat it, that's not bad. Getting the chocolate and eating it, it's not bad. Enjoying the chocolate, like really savoring that experience, is not bad. The time that it would be bad is if you eat way too much chocolate and you're addicted to it and it's negatively impacting your health. At that point, chocolate is still not evil. It's just you, the person, the adult human, who needs to understand balance. Anything out of balance is negative. What you need to do is not condemn the chocolate, and don't look around at other people who are enjoying chocolate in a normal, healthy amount and be like, that's bad. It's bad because I'm addicted to it. It's not bad. It's just you need to incorporate other things in as well. And, I understand a lot of people think that lust and love are opposites or mutually exclusive, and I disagree with that. I think that, at least for romantic love, I want there to be some lust in there and some desire, and the way that I kind of see that as is like having a healthy, balanced diet that gives you your main source of energy. That's love, being wholesome and creating relationships that are deeper. And lust is that extra spice, or the chocolate for dessert, It helps make things fun and exciting, and it can make you explore new things. Like if you go to a chocolate shop and you see all the different flavors, that's not a euphemism, I'm just trying to think of the chocolate stuff, and then, yeah, but you know what I mean. Anything out of balance is bad. And I've had a lot of people too try to say that OF is bad because some people have corn addictions. And again, that's the same thing. It's like, are you gonna go to the bakery and tell them that they are wrong for selling cake just because there are some obese people that are dying from it? We all have to take responsibility for ourselves. Eating cake and chocolate is fine, but you still need to eat regular food too. You You need to have balance. Same thing. Lust is normal. Desire is normal. And in my opinion, like, it's a really fun and important part of life that everybody experiences for the most part. But I guarantee you that women experience it too, okay? And, you know, it's very hyperbolic and immature to feel like just because you struggle with this means that everybody indulging in it in any way is evil and soulless. Because yeah, like if you are obese and you're sitting outside the bakery and you're just like staring at everyone that walks in and you're like, how dare you eat that chocolate? And they're a normal, healthy person. That's really ridiculous. And that's the same thing as people with corn addictions who they project a lot onto normal, healthy people who indulge in that sort of content in a normal way that does not negatively impact their life and their connections. And so I don't like it when people try to shirk their responsibility and put it onto me or onto other people. You know, the world's not gonna ban chocolate. If you eat too much chocolate, download MyFitnessPal. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, sorry, but that's just how I feel about that. And so, thinking about lust or desire in the form of this kind of thing that's pulling you towards something, you know, that's what desire is. It's, you know, maybe your eyes widen and your mouth waters and you lean into it. That's a beautiful thing, and it can be used to your benefit, absolutely. A lot of the most creative and powerful people cite lust or desire as a catalyst for what they've created. And I've talked about this in my other video called Why I'm Celibate. I was talking about using that energy to create, using that inspiration and all of those feelings that get mixed up for your highest good. So it's a really, really beautiful, positive thing when it's engaged in with balance and intention. Intention is a huge part of anything, because if you are letting any of your human biological drives move you without intention, you're asleep. You're not creating anything. You're just a pawn. And so, in that case, just like hunger, lust could also be majorly negative on your life. But if you are a conscious creator, if you're awake, if you are intentional with your behaviors as much as you can be, then lust is a very powerful driving force, and it can help you in many, many ways, not just relationships, but mainly like creativity and stuff like that. It means you're alive, you know? So, act like it, you know? And I do know that people with addictions, you know, it sucks to be building all of that energy and then just wasting it, and it starts impacting your connections and the way that you build relationships and the way that you see people. And that's a real thing, and it is a problem nowadays. The problem, again, is not because of lust. It's not because of people who create sensual content, just like obesity is not the baker's fault. We're always gonna have bakeries, okay? The obesity, this just is so random, but it's happening because people feel they don't want to feel all of the negative emotions that they have, and so they take whatever they can to numb themselves, whether that be food, corn, if you know what I mean, drugs, all of that. They are trying to escape the pain, all of the feelings that they need to look at and sit with. And whether they shut down every bakery, there's always going to be some guy making little cakes in a back room and selling them for huge markups, you know? The bakery will never die because people are hungry, okay? And so stop yelling at the baker and go sit with your feelings, man. Okay? Because that's really the real problem here. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm putting down. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. But yeah, desire is an incredible, beautiful, amazing thing. And especially in this day and age, we have access to so much information, and this gives us the space to be aware. And once you're aware, you can consciously choose. And when you indulge, you can cut all that shame shit out. Indulge fully because you're doing it intentionally and you're making space for that, which is incredible. Another thing is the context of the lust matters. So, just like anything, it can be twisted into something that is negative. Like somebody could poison chocolate and give it to people and they all die. And that's not good, you know? But again, it's not the chocolate, it's what's being injected into the chocolate. And that's the same thing as lust. Yes, it is. It can be dark and, you know, vulgar and gratuitous and surface level and soulless, like that person said. It can be. And that's why you have to use your discernment. And, you know, that has to do with consent. You know, you want the other person that you're interacting with, whether that's in content, in some sort of interaction in person, or whatever, you want them to be a, You want them to be an enthusiastic participant. If the other person is like agreeing to do something and they look really sad or they look like they don't want to be there, then, you know, that's not good. If you're engaging in any sort of lust-related activity, you need to make sure everybody's happy and this is a consensual thing. And I know it gets complicated because it's hard to know in certain instances. Like if you are consuming corn, you don't know the whole backstory behind it. But there are ways of distinguishing it. And personally, that's why I love OF and things that are similar to that, because there's a much bigger chance that what you're consuming was created ethically and consensually. But it's tricky. In person, it should be a lot easier. You know, if you're interacting with somebody, you can watch their body language and make sure that they are as into it as you are. And as long as it's consensual and not hurting anyone, then knock yourself out, you know? But balance is key. And, you know, moderation doesn't mean restriction. It just means that you are savoring the experience and fully experiencing it and enjoying it. Kind of like having, you know, a small bit of high quality chocolate that you fully enjoy versus just, you know, gobbling up a giant cheap chocolate bar that you don't even really taste because you're just consuming it thoughtlessly. So, yeah, being aware is key, and I think that lust can really open up your experience in life. It's very similar to curiosity, you know, so it makes you explore the world more in various ways. But something that a lot of people talk about is objectification, and that definitely is a big part of this conversation. Now, I've had a lot of trouble understanding this because I'm somebody who I enjoy seeing a good physique. I enjoy watching videos where, you know, even just on Instagram, where people are showing off their body and they look good. And to me, I never saw them as an object. Like, to me, them being a person is why it's hot, you know? And in real life, if I ever think somebody's hot and then I meet them, their personality makes or breaks my attraction. So, who they are as a person is a huge part of the sexual attraction, and that includes when I watch content. You can't always tell what somebody's personality is like depending on the content, but that doesn't mean that I see them as an object. So, I don't know. When people talk about that, I don't know, it's confusing to me because I don't even know, like, what that would be like to, you know, see somebody as not a person. I have had people on my OF message me and say, like, oh, I want to say, you know, X, Y, or Z, kind of risque compliment, but I don't want to objectify you. I don't want to disrespect you. And I'm always like, well, first of all, this is the place to say that, what you want to say, but second of all, you know, as long as you are in the appropriate context, obviously certain things that you can say on OF, you should not comment publicly. You should not go up to someone at the grocery store and say that to them, obviously. So, I think, honestly, the problem with a lot of people getting confused about this is just a lack of maturity and social awareness, because they're confused. They think that because lust is inappropriate in certain situations, that means that it's always evil. Or because some people have addictions, that means that any experience of lust is bad. And it's just really a lack of understanding. And, I think we as a society have come a long way from in the past in history, because it used to be a lot worse, but we still have some ways to go. But I hope that if you are somebody who has felt this kind of shame over your natural sexual desires and lust, I hope that you can start deconstructing that for yourself. And also, I think it can be dangerous when people don't know the difference between healthy sexual behavior and unhealthy. Because if you paint with too broad a stroke, you see it all as the same. So if you think that regular consensual attraction is evil, then it puts it on the same level with stuff that is actually evil. And that's a very dangerous place to be. And that's why we see a lot of horrible things happen in churches or things like that, where people are really repressed because they don't know the difference between right or wrong anymore. They were told that their natural instincts are evil. So they're gonna lump it all in with the stuff that they should really know is evil. So I do find it weird how we demonize natural attraction between consenting adults. It's very suspicious. But I also feel sad for people that are like, anytime they feel these feelings, which are beautiful and natural, they feel all of this shame after, as if they had just done some sort of vile act. And that really sucks, like, you gotta free yourself, man. Like, it's not like that. It's really not. But you'll only know that if you deconstruct it for yourself. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the main thing to kind of take away would be just bring your awareness to it. Whatever you're doing, don't do it mindlessly. As long as you put the light of truth, meaning you seeing the truth, you looking at your actions, you see what you're doing, and you're doing it intentionally. You're not controlled by your urges. You intentionally indulge when you want to. And then, because it's intentional, you allow yourself to enjoy it without corrupting it with that shame. Shame is intentionally injected into us to control us. So, the next time that somebody is trying to shame you, think about where those ideas are coming from. And just really maybe take a few minutes. Sit outside. Ponder what that could mean. There's a lot of freedom to be had. Freedom is expansive. The freer you are, the more you can do. Not less, okay? So, when people are trying to restrict you, it's very rarely for your benefit. Of course, context matters, but I don't know. This is something I've been thinking about, and I don't know, it takes a long time to like fully unpack all the things that society and culture tries to shove down your throat so you can be a good little slave. You know what I mean? So be intentional, have balance, don't wildly indulge, but also do indulge if you want to sometimes. I think it's a really positive and beneficial thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I didn't mention. Oh yeah, I did want to say there is a difference, of course, to surface level lust where, you know, you just feel those kind of surface level desires towards somebody versus lust within a deep connection. And so those are different things. However, neither one is bad. I don't think that it's bad to lust after your partner. I think that's beautiful and it helps keep your relationship interesting and fun, and you know, you can have more exploration together because of that fire being alive. And on the other hand, having more surface level lust is not a problem either. However, again, you don't want to get so caught up in the cheap chocolate that you never experience the more decadent luxury chocolate, which, you know, in this example that would represent more meaningful and embodied pleasure, which in my opinion can only happen once you've built a deep connection with another human. But you can do that with yourself, so that's good. But there's lots of moving parts, and I feel like it's a very personal journey for every person, and I'm still navigating that journey myself. And yeah, it's just interesting again because as a woman it's weird to be online and realize, like, I guess people really aren't aware of how much women experience the same thing as men. And I think it's because generationally, going back in history, women were not permitted to show feelings of lust or desire, and if they did, it was scandalous or a crime. And so I think women just have gotten so good at hiding it or suppressing it that some men really just think that women don't feel those feelings. And to me that's shocking because we do. A lot of women do. Probably the same percentage of women do that men do. I said that in a weird way, but you know what I mean. This is part of the human experience, and it's a very natural and beautiful thing. So I hope if you're a woman, you feel included on any weird corners of the internet that you may end up, because I see you, girl. Maybe also it's because women don't comment as much when they are watching that sort of content, because of the fact that women have historically had to suppress their own desires. And so men desire out loud, very loudly. Women, you know, they go hide in a dark closet behind the jackets and desire there, you know, because things the generational stuff going back in history takes a long time to heal. So hopefully, not even hopefully, like, it is happening. We are progressing. This is happening whether we like it or not. This is the age of knowledge, of awareness, of information, freedom, expansion, acceptance of everything that we've tried to suppress. And it's exciting. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here. Anyways, again, nice seeing you. Also, a final thought to leave you with that is completely unrelated. But I was thinking, like, you know how some makeup says it's cruelty-free on it? Isn't that weird how there's even an option to, like, have cruelty? That's crazy. I don't know. But anyways, it's a wild, wild world we live in. But yeah, thank you for being here, people of culture. I hope that I've explained myself clearly and concisely. I love you. Just like I love all people. Oh yeah, side note. If you think that I have communicated with you in some way in the astral plane, that's just in your own head. Because I've had multiple people tell me that. Like that I've appeared in their dreams, or that I've communicated with them astrally. That was not me. That was a projection of your own consciousness that took on my form for whatever reason, which I'm flattered by, but we do not have a connection. That's very parasocial of you. I did not reach out in a dream, so stop it right now. Just to clear things up. But I still love you, again, in the way that I love all people, not in a special way.